everyone, so in this video we will learn how you can use phpMyAdmin like a pro. If you have started working as a developer just now, or you have been doing it since a while but you are still not clear about how phpMyAdmin works, then this video is just for you. Without wasting no more time, let's just go to the screen. So here I have my phpMyAdmin open, and if you could see, this is the complete interface that we have, and I am using XAMPP as the server. So I have XAMPP installed into my machine, and after running this XAMPP, you need to just also open this MySQL. So MySQL is basically the database that we are using, and you can access it using just localhost in the URL, but make sure that you have XAMPP running. So both this Apache server and the MySQL should be running, and then you need to go to localhost slash phpMyAdmin. It will open up this interface for you, and since it's running on your local database, so these database should not work beyond your local network. And if here you could see that these are some of the options. So empty session data, these we would actually never need so commonly. So let's go to this part. So in this left side we have different databases. So all these are different kind of databases that I have for various projects. So you can see I have this test, to do app, to do application, YouTube. So all these are different databases that I have used since till now. To create a database, what you need to do is just you need to go to click on this new. It will ask for a database name. So I'll add testing db video, and then it will ask you in what format. So it's basically this UTF-8 MB4 general CI, so you just can keep it. And then it will ask you for table name. So database is basically the main entity, and inside it you can have multiple tables. So if you have one website, so you can have one database for this complete website, and you can have different tables, one for user, one for payments, one for any schedules, one for any bookings. So you can have multiple tables within one database. So here if I give table A, then it will create a table, and in a table you have different columns. So in case of a contact, if you are creating it for a contact submissions, so you can have a username, you can have a description, you can have an email, phone number. So these 4 fields, so you can have it created. Then it will give you that you need to add it the table name that we have already added. You can rename it if you want, you can change it. And from here itself we can, if we think that 4 columns are not enough, we can add another column. So it will add it in real time. And here we have this name, type, length, default. So all these values we need to add it. So if I write name, so I have this what kind of type this field will hold the values. So name is basically, it cannot be a number, so it would be a string, it would be a character, text. So we have this multiple items. So int is basically integer. So it also gives you certain thing that signed range is -2 to this, and unsigned range is 0 to this. So it's a 4-byte integer. You can keep it for smaller numbers. Then we have varchar. It is basically for strings. So 0 to 65,535 string, you can keep it. Text is basically a longer varchar type. You can see a text column with a maximum length. So it has it's kind of more than double of this varchar. So text you can keep for description, for if you have articles, so its length. So all that you can keep in that. And varchar you can use for emails or for titles and all. And supported range is also being tell. And then we have this numeric value. So tiny int, if you have certain range of only 1 to 10, tiny int, small int, these are all integers, so you can keep this. Big int is basically integer, but it can hold up to larger values. Then decimal, float, if you have like points, double is also the same. Then come to date and time. So date, time, it will hold only the date, it will hold date, time. Timestamp is the exact that moment when the entry got added, so we can keep that timestamp at that moment when it gets to the database. When it is saved, then it will just save that value. Time and year, as it says, time is basically the time of the day, and year, it will keep the year. In string we have this char, in this varchar, tiny text, medium text. So basically with what you will be working, like 95% of the time would be this int, varchar, text, date, all format of dates, like if you want to have date, time and all. And these majorly you will be working on. So now going to the next thing, that is the length. So in varchar we need to also provide the length. We can, its maximum is 255, so 100 you can keep if you are sure that it is going to be a name or something, so you can keep 100, or if it's an email. So but to be on a like double sure, you can keep it as 255. Default you can keep as undefined, null, current timestamp. So this is the current timestamp. By default, if you use some like date, if you use date and you want to keep the current timestamp as the default value, then you can have it. Otherwise, sometimes you want to keep a different kind of date. So if you ask user that on which date you want the appointment, so this would not be the current timestamp, it would be a different date. So in those scenario, it is the different date. But in case you want to know the exact time when this particular entry will be filled, so that you can keep it as current timestamp. And then attribution, these are or not necessary, the null and not null. So null values on the primary key. Primary key is basically the one unique key which cannot be there in any other entry. So these are sometimes the id. So you cannot null is basically nothing. So if you have null selected, so this field can be null, but if it's not, then it will be required to have certain value filled in it. Then this is auto increment AI. So auto increment is basically that it will be created used as a primary key, so no one can have a same name. So this is generally not done because we keep IDs, because many people can have the same name or like that. So we don't generally keep the name as in auto increment, we keep only IDs and all. Then you can add the comment if you want to add, and then this all you can ignore. You just need to save this and it will save the data. So if you see, I had actually 5 columns, but I filled only one out of it, so it just creates the column with that, it just creates the table with that one column. Now let's we have covered this. So this left bar we have covered, that how we add the database, how we add the table, the fields in it. Now let's go to the this top bar that is taking up most of our area. So this is the browse. In browse, what you see, all the entries, and if I select any of the table, so let's select this Google Sheet form. So if you see structure, so it will just show you all the tables you have in this particular database. It will also just expand it, that leads table. You can see if I had more tables, I would it would also be showing that. But here in the structure, you can see different tables you have, and also the number of entries in that table, rows and all that. And you can directly perform these options here. You can search, you can insert, you can open it, you will have the complete table. So let's go back, and again we are on the database level. Then we have this SQL. So here you can perform the queries, you can run any query from here. Otherwise, if you don't want, you can have this search. So search, you can find anything that here. These are actually not very much used. So in case you want to find any, let's go to some table. So we are in this table, and I can go to this search. So I can directly search that whoever first name was Ashi, you can add it. You can click on this go, and it will give you all the entries. So here the first name was Ashi, so it just gave me this entry. So basically structure is when you go to structures mainly shows that for a table it will show you all the fields that you had added, the type, the validation that you had added, it's null, all the things, all the configuration that we had added. Now it will show you, and you can even change it. You can change it, or you can drop a particular column. So all these operations you can do. In search, if you are inside a table, you can see I'm in the this is my server, then this is my database, and inside the database I'm in this table. So on the table level, I can browse the table, I can see all the different entries it had, and I can see the structure of this table. I can change, or I can drop, or I can even add anything. Here you can add, and you can even add it after a particular column, like after city. If I want to add, then you can just need to do go. And then you have this insert. If you want to insert any new entry yourself, you just need to fill up the fields, and you just need to do this go. And you can even insert it as a new row and ignore errors, show insert query. You can also do all these operations, but generally what we do is we need to add it, and we can do go. Then we have this export option. So what you can do is that you can export rows from this table. So we are on the table level, so you can export all the rows and dump all rows. If you want dump some rows, you can specify the number of rows, and it will export it, and it will give you this leads table.sql format. So you can actually import it if you want on your maybe production database, if you want all the local entries to be there. Generally it's not like that, but if you want, then you can do it. If you are moving out server, then you can also use this export import option. And what you need to do to import it, you just need to do this, and you need to have that file, and you can add it here, and you can do import. So these two things. Then you have also the privileges. This you can ignore, it's not that important. Then you have the operations. Okay, so operations is basically if you want to table order by ascending, descending, by what field, if you want it to be in a particular format, you want it to be first name, ascending, descending, that you can do. If you want to move table to some other database, that you can also do. If you want to rename it, copy table to some other database, or if you want to even empty the table data, empty table, delete the table, all that you can do from here. Triggers is basically like this, we can ignore. So this is pretty much how things work in a phpMyAdmin. Very easy. You can just I think the major 90%, 95% I have already covered. Some things like running SQL queries, this is generally not used. These privileges and triggers, this is also kind of an advanced level. So this is pretty much what you need to know before running it. So you can, after knowing this much, you can actually operate it very easily. You can work on it. And if I show you how we add it in the code level, so I have this project open of mine. So this is the index.php. It is basically opening a file here. You can see this is the mainly the project, it's opening the file, and here it is the submit. So on when clicked on submit, it will take to the this submit.php. So how we create a connection, that is a kind of in-depth thing, but I'll just show you that how it is done. I'll just quickly explain. So we just write the server name, as we are on local machine, so we write localhost, then we specify the username. It's local machine, that's why username and password is nothing, and username is always root when you are doing it through XAMPP. So otherwise, if you are on a server, then you can create the user for that particular database based on your hosting platform. Then we write the database name. So database name, it's basically the database. The database and table are two separate things. Inside the database, we have multiple tables. So this is the database. And then when you run the query, so here is the query that insert into, this is the table name. So leads table, if you see now, that is the leads table. So this is the table. And then we add it. We add the values, that number of the holders, placeholder we want to add. So all this basically, and then we execute it. We prepare the connection with this SQL. We provided the SQL, and then we bind params. So we actually specify the values that should be there. So this is how things work when you want to have a connection with the database and the table, and you want to get things appended to that table. This is for this video. If you like this video, then please give it a like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching.